Less than a month ago, you were at the White House. You seemed very cordial, friendly with President Trump. The two of you were joking. You said you were going to walk away with a good deal. He said that we would be very happy. Is the U.S. toying with Canada, and how did your relationship with Donald Trump go south so fast?
It's a question for him.
During the closing press conference of the ASEAN Summit 2025, all eyes turned to Prime Minister Mark Carney as a reporter asked the burning question, just a month ago, you were smiling with President Trump at the White House, both joking about a great deal. So what changed? How did things fall apart so suddenly? Carney didn't flinch. He didn't give a speech. He calmly replied, that's a question for him. Just 7 words, and with that, everything shifted. In that instant, the world realized Canada wasn't playing along anymore. Carney's steady face and cool reply spoke volumes. Canada was done dealing with unpredictable politics. No drama, no anger, just quiet confidence. From that moment, the atmosphere in the room was charged. Every answer Carney gave carried the same message, measured strength and a new sense of control. As the cameras rolled, everyone wondered, what happens next? Is Canada truly ready to go its own way, no matter what Washington does?
Prime Minister, given everything that we've seen, do you really think the United States is interested in making a trade deal with Canada?
Look, we are their second largest trading partner. We provide a series of essential goods for their economy. We are one of many providers, but we provide in some areas essential goods for their economy. And we create more room for them to do other things. I'll give you an example. If you look at Canadian exports of aluminum to the United States, and aluminum is bauxite and energy. I mean, there's a little more to it, but you can simplify it to that. The embedded energy in the Canadian aluminum exports, which provides 60% of the aluminum to the U.S. market, is the equivalent of the energy of 10 Hoover dams in the United States. Now, is the best use of that scale of energy, creating that scale of energy to make aluminum in the United States, as opposed to continue to foster and power the AI revolution, which the U.S. is leading, or power homes and others? I mean, these are decisions for the United States to make. Point being, as a supplier to the United States, and I gave aluminum as one, I could give many examples, we are an important supplier in many areas. As well, we are a large customer. You know, for over 30 states, Canada is the largest customer, export customer for those states in the United States. But we're not resting because we can build, you know, the return on building at home is far greater than the hit from trade turbulence with the United States. And the opportunities internationally are considerable. And candidly, Canada has not focused on the relationships to the same extent as we should have in any trading environment with the United States, let alone a situation where they're changing their trade policy. And that's what we're doing now.
Then came the second question, one that changed everything. Someone asked if the U.S. was even serious about making a trade deal. Carney didn't hold back. He gave a reality check nobody saw coming. Calmly, he reminded everyone that Canada supplies 60% of America's aluminum, the same energy as 10 Hoover dams. More than 30 U.S. states rely on Canada as their top export customer, not China, Mexico, or the EU. And then, with complete composure, Carney dropped the line that could define his leadership. We are an important supplier in many areas as well. We are a large customer. It was code for one thing. The U.S. needs Canada just as much as Canada needs the U.S. The tone shifted. Carney turned the conversation from dependence to mutual necessity. Canada is no longer waiting for favors. It's negotiating from strength. The message was clear. This isn't a one-way street anymore. And as the cameras caught every word, audiences everywhere were left wondering, what does this new balance mean for both countries? The suspense is building.
I'll ask a version of this so you can answer, Nate.
I figured you might.
If it is true that a TV ad, that you were close to a deal exchanging term sheets, and a TV ad caused all of this to be canceled, halted. Trump does not want to meet. Are you upset at Premier Doug Ford for running this ad? If this is true that this ad spoiled something that was very close?
Look, I'd say the following, which is that in any complicated, high-stakes negotiation, you can get unexpected twists and turns, and you have to keep your cool during those situations. It doesn't pay to be upset. Emotions don't carry you very far. And we had made progress, to repeat, and we stand by the progress that had been made. The Government of Canada does. And we are ready, when appropriate, to pick that up. And I'll just re-emphasize that it is the responsibility of the Government of Canada to have these negotiations. And others will have opinions, and others welcome free advice, unsolicited advice is entirely appropriate. Every Canadian is a stakeholder in these negotiations. Every Canadian is a stakeholder in the fact that we're making progress in ASEAN, that we have the agreement with Indonesia, that we have just decided to accelerate trade talks with the Philippines, with ASEAN as a whole. Every Canadian has a stakeholder, is a stakeholder in the evolution of our relationship with China. And the discussions that we will be having at APEC with giants there. So that's the focus.
The second question changed the mood in the room instantly. Was the U.S. serious about a trade deal? Carney didn't dodge, he gave a dose of reality. Calmly, he reminded everyone, Canada supplies 60% of America's aluminum and powers up the energy of 10 Hoover dams. For over 30 American states, Canada is the main export market, not China, Mexico, or Europe. Then Carney delivered the line, "We are an important supplier in many areas as well. We are a large customer." In other words, the U.S. needs Canada as much as Canada needs the U.S. Just like that, the tone shifted. No more waiting for handouts. Canada was negotiating from strength. This wasn't a one-way deal anymore. As cameras rolled and the crowd listened, the suspense only grew. What does this new balance mean? What will happen next? Stay tuned, because the story is just getting started.
We've signed new agreements with the United Arab Emirates in artificial intelligence, with the European Union in defense and broader trade, with Germany in critical minerals, with Mexico in agri-food. We signed a free trade deal with Ecuador that reduces or eliminates tariffs on the majority of Canadian exports. And last month, in Ottawa, we concluded a historic free trade agreement with Indonesia, Canada's first bilateral free trade agreement with an ASEAN nation. This week in Kuala Lumpur, we agreed to accelerate progress on a new Canada ASEAN free trade agreement, targeting completion of that agreement next year. Yesterday, I met with the Prime Ministers of Laos and Vietnam, as well as the President of the Philippines, to move those talks forward. Now, that deal would add about $1.5 billion to our economy, giving Canadian workers and businesses greater access to this fast-growing market. In fact, probably, arguably, the fastest-growing market.
Carney didn't stop there. He rolled out one deal after another: artificial intelligence with the UAE, defense and trade with Germany, and agreements on minerals, farming, and now, Canada's first-ever free trade pact with Indonesia. Ottawa is racing ahead on a Canada ASEAN deal that could add over $1.5 billion to the economy. It was a powerful message. While Trump talks, Carney is busy building the alliances that will shape Canada's future. This wasn't just any press conference. It was a turning point. Carney showed what real leadership means in uncertain times: calm, focused, and backed by action. While Trump worries about loyalty, Carney moves ahead with strategy. While Washington stands alone, Canada expands its reach. He's not trying to compete with Trump. He's moving beyond him. Canada is stepping up from the sidelines to become a balanced, strong global leader. From Asia to the world, the message is clear. Canada doesn't wait for the U.S. It leads the way. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more stories on Canada's future, because right now, this is Canada's moment, and the world is watching closely.